And welcome here to a Friday showcase at the North Florida Prep Report. I'm Andrew Jupe. Thanks for coming in with us here today. And of course, it's a little Friday forecast, some predictions of what we have going for our area games here in the North Florida region. So just want to throw it out there. Coverage range coming from Suwannee County on over to Walton County. So the 39 teams in that coverage range are the ones that we're going to be focusing on here today, here for the I-10 Sports Media Network. So a very, very fun slate. So let's get right on into it here with the weekly game number 1, 5-2 Arnold, 3-3 Fort Walton Beach. So this one will be exciting, of course. The leading tackler in 4A, Big Money Jones, going to be going at it for Arnold. Of course, this game was an absolute blowout last year, 56-0 loss here for the Marlins. And of course, losers of 6 to the last 8 in the Vikings, kind of going back in their recent history. I'm liking the Marlins here in this one. So maybe it's not an upset in traditional, but as far as the recent history, a good bounce back. I'm taking the Marlins. Next game. Undefeated Osceola Christian against an upstart Lighthouse Private Christian Academy. So you have La Rosa coming off the 5-touchdown game just the last time they touched out, but an upstart Lighthouse Christian here with Jackson on offense, going to be leading the charge here. I'm feeling a little bit of an upset special here, so I hate to go against our North Florida boys, but I'm going to go with Lighthouse here for the matchup. Game number 3. Childs at Lincoln, a big district matchup here today. Of course, all the chairs coming over to the table for this one here in Tallahassee. Of course, Childs starting a little rough here, 1-5 slate. Lincoln coming off their lone loss of the season against a powerful Gadsden County team, but you reset the deck here when you get into district play. So Childs, an opportunity with Jacobs at quarterback to bounce back, secure a big victory for them. He came in with 2 touchdown tosses last week against a good Florida High squad. Over on the other side, you look to Lincoln to reestablish the run game with Huggins and get them going as they try to lock down another district championship. So if Lincoln takes it, they win. If Childs takes it, they keep themselves alive for that automatic playoff berth. I got to go with recent history, and I love a good bounce back after a tough defeat. Give me the Lincoln Trojans. Next game on the slate, Cottondale 6-0 against Liberty County 0-7. Odoms and Garrett, just too much for me here. I've got to go with Cottondale. Garrett with a school record in rushing last week. I think they'll keep the run game alive and rolling out there for Cottondale. They're going to be tough to stop and run. And once again, the train is rolling down the tracks. I don't know if Liberty has enough firepower to take down Cottondale, so I'm going to go with them here in the victory tonight. Next game is going to be an exciting one. Don't let the records fool you. This is an old rivalry game, so you can throw those things out. It's also a district contest. That's right. FAMU DRS and NFC going at it here tonight. It's going to be over on the north side of town. Of course, DRS coming over off a tough defeat versus Maclay just a week ago. On the other side, NFC just down the street from that match suffered a tough defeat on Jefferson County. So both these teams looking for a bounce back. Now they're in district play here, back for DRS, and also first one here for NFC. Aria Spurt got the run game going. A really good spark here for NFC, best offensive showcase of the season. I look for him to keep it going again. Maybe he goes over 100, maybe a couple more touchdowns from him here for the youngster. And over on the other side, it is unfortunate, but we do know the status of the star running back for the Baby Rattlers. McMillan suffered an injury in the game against Maclay. And so because of that, I'm going to have to lean NFC in their first district contest to take this one tonight. Let's keep on rolling. 5-1 Franklin County at Weewa, 1-5. So records may be deceiving here. Weewa able to get their first win here recently, and so starting to get a little bit of an uptick. On the other side, Franklin County coming off their first loss. So teams like two ships in the night, passing in different directions. I do like a bounce back here from Franklin County, so I'll take them. I like Tamarian Carr and the run game here going for the Seahawks, so I'm going to take them on the road. Next game on the slate. Freeport and South Walton. South Walton, they've been very nomadic, as birds oftentimes are, and I'm a little worried about the ground game here for Freeport, so that's why I'm going to go here with the blue and orange. Love what they're bringing to the table, and so I'm going to take the 3-3 squad to keep it rolling and get that on the good side of 500 here. Give me Freeport. All right, continuing on to our next matchup. It's going to be Florida High and Gadsden County. 4-2 Florida High, 6-1 Gadsden, of course. Rolling are the Jags. But on the other side, don't sleep on Florida High. They're winners of 4 straight after a little bit of a rough start. A lot of people were talking about the youth of this team, but they're starting to find their own, and that run game is mean. So you got to be careful with threats, and you got to be careful with the rest of the squad going forward. Also on defense, Broxton, the Vanderbilt commit, an absolute beast. Over on the other side, Gadsden County, the run game and the offensive line, the big boys, the breakfast bunch, as I like to say, bringing the pancakes here for Gadsden County this season. I like Davis. I like Battles in the run game here. Maybe a little too much for Florida High, so I'm going to go for Gadsden County to lock up the big dub in a big district contest. Rolling on to the next game. You talk about districts, you talk about locking things up. Opportunity for Gabi to do it here. If they win, they would sweep district play and take Wakulla, but they're going to have to travel down to Crawfordville to do it against a 4-1 Wakulla team coming off a big emotional victory up here in Tallahassee just a week ago. Gabi coming in at 4-2 to this matchup. Both teams have won 3 straight. Here, I think Gabi has just enough explosiveness on offense. I like the passing game, what I've seen here this season, and I think they'll be able to slide by behind this big offensive line into the sunset. Also, their secondary, I think they'll do just enough to keep Cleese in check. Of course, Ronna J. Wiley with the pick 6 last week. He might get another one here this week. Give me the Cougars in this district matchup down south. Next game. Hamilton County versus Hilliard. So Hamilton County, once again, teams both having a little bit of a rough stretch here. I think Hamilton County is going to have just enough to get by Hilliard, who has really been struggling here on defense and trying to generate some offense. So I'm going to take the Trojans in this one to lock it in. Victory number 2. Let's go Hamilton. Next game on the slate. Holmes County and Vernon. So 4-2 against a 1-5 squad. I really like the big offensive line here for Holmes. They've been dominant, as you can see, 4-2 solid this season. The run game operating behind them, I think, is just going to be a little too much here. So give me Holmes. Blue Devils, I think, going to jump up to 5-2. Going to help themselves there in those rural standings here for the playoff picture as we come down the stretch of the season. Blue Devils, once again, with the dub. Next game. 5-1 Jefferson County against 2-4 Sneads. Of course, you talk about the run game, and for Holmes County, Sneads going to bring their run game to the table as well. But I think the player that doesn't get enough love, diamond in the rough, Malik Johnson here in the offense for Jefferson County, who are rolling right now, are going to keep the train rolling. Give me another dub, a big one upcoming here for Jefferson. Next game on the slate. Leon and Marianna. So Marianna undefeated. Leon still looking for their first win. This one's going to be out west in dog country. It's going to be a really tough ask here for Leon. Of course, been without their big quarterback, Peoples. Marianna, you love the run game out there. It's been absolutely relentless, the offensive line. And then RJ Mays over at quarterback. Every week, it seems we have a new baller stepping up in the receiving game or on the offensive line. Of course, just to add to the big running back, Amari Clements. So I think it's a little too much with Marianna here. So give me the Dogs at home here tonight to take it 8-0 for Marianna. Next matchup down in Southwood, 4-1 Maclay against 1-4 St. John Paul II. This will be a tight one. Maclay coming in. Offense is absolutely rolling, coming off a fantastic performance, which they had 9 different players score a touchdown a week ago. St. John Paul II, although they lost last week, don't sleep on them just because they're 1-4. They gave Wakulla all they could handle last week. Coming in at 1-4, big district contest. If Maclay's able to get the win, they could win the district if DRS upsets NFC on the north side. So high stakes for McClay to potentially lock it up tonight. I think they have just enough in the passing game and the defensive front seven, which I've been really impressed with here tonight. Give me the Marauders. On down the list, we have a battle of undefeated teams in the Big 5A classification. A huge one going on between Mosley and Niceville. Two old foes going at it. A rivalry that had long been dominated by Niceville, but Mosley able to get the breakthrough last year. And I say give them two in a row. I think the rushing game and the offense explosiveness is just enough to get by this tough vaunted defense and the running game here for Niceville. Lakavian Williams, Sam Freitas, and the rest of the boys out in Dolphin country. Get Niceville at home, which I think is a big advantage. One of the reasons why I got to take Mosley here tonight. Next matchup on the slate, North Bayhaven against Rutherford. So a couple teams once again with 6 losses on the season so far here. Rutherford did get the breakthrough last week. Loved the way they were able to get the offense lit up. They dropped 31 in a big victory last week. North Bayhaven's strength of this team is on the defensive side. I don't know if they have the firepower to keep up with Rutherford here tonight. So that's why I'm taking the Rams. Give me 2 in a row for Rutherford to try to keep some momentum going into the playoffs. Slide on over. It's a big district competition between Suwannee and Baker County. And, of course, the Dogs going against the Cats here from Baker County. So Suwannee, been a little bit of a tough season here. Only the 1 win so far, but they're starting to get healthy. That's why I'm picking the Dogs in what would be an upset here out this week against Baker County. Keep themselves alive in the district race and hope to help the cause as well in the at-large standpoint. Depending on what happens down in Crawfordville, things can get a little bit interesting. Suwannee and Baker County, they're going to be doing a little scoreboard watching for that Gabi-Wakulla game. But back to this, I'm taking the Dogs healthy. Give me Suwannee here tonight. Next game on the slate, Taylor County and Chiefland, another battle of undefeateds, 5-0 against 6-0. Big Chiefland run game, going to be troublesome here for this Taylor County defense. We'll see how the run game gets going here for Taylor County on their side. Of course, I like my boy Ryan Hamilton, the dual threat quarterback there. And can they stop? I believe they can, this Chiefland run game, who has been pretty vicious here. I love Taylor County. They're good at turnovers. They don't really give you the ball much here. And so going to be able to play a little bit of a keep away. And if they make Chiefland pass, look out for my guy Kingston Williams coming off a pick 6 last week. He may just have another one this week. That's why I got to take the Dogs, Taylor County, on the road in a very tough Chiefland team. Next game on the slate here, it's going to be Walton and Pensacola Catholic, 3-2. Walton 5-1, Pensacola Catholic. So, of course, you got Bittenhausen, who's able to sling it for the Walton Braves, but I think just a little too much meat. Of course, the big boys over at Catholic, they're going to be able to host, tough place to play. I love what they do in the trenches here to set up the offense, to surge forward. If it goes high scoring, Walton could hang tough and get them going in what would be an upset. But because of the trenches, I'm going to have to go with Catholic here tonight. Our first of the Saturday games, it's going to be a nooner over in Dixie County. That's right, 3-2 Blountstown at Dixie County here this week. I think the Tigers looking for a good bounce back after that Taylor County game. I feel like the defense will be ready to rock and roll, hit the road. And they've been gearing up a little extra days practice to work on a couple of things that they were shown from last week. I'm liking Blountstown. Give me the Tigers here on the road. And next one to finish up the slate, Chipley over NFEI. Of course, it's 5-1 against 1-6. NFEI hasn't really got it going offensively. And when you have a team that's struggling offensively against a vaunted defense that you have the Chipley Tigers in, I think there's only one way to go. I have to go Chipley here to go 6-1. That rural classification is an absolute shark tank. Chipley going to need the points big here to help their cause going forward. So that's what we have for the weekly slate. Hopefully get some more dubs here. Let me know where I was wrong. Luckily, we were perfect here on Thursday. Last night, we went 3-0 with the games. Going forward this week. As you can see, Bay locking up the district as they beat West Florida. Rickards, unfortunately, falling to Choctaw, and Bozeman, a wild win against Port St. Joe for their third win of the season. Of course, not a bad week last week as we went 14-5. We want to keep on churning and keep it at that 75% clip. So hopefully we get it going. And of course, like I said, a lot of picks, a lot of ups, a lot of downs. Can't win them all. Where did I get it wrong? Here, have some fun. It's Friday Night Football. Get ready.